Well, hats off to Tennessee. I think they got a really good football team. I think Josh is doing a great job. A tremendous atmosphere to play college football game in. Was really impressed with that. I can't say enough about the leaders on this team. You know, after that game against Missouri, to have three guys stand up in the locker room and I don't know what we won 40-6 or what, I don't even know what the score was, but they said that it wasn't acceptable the way we approached the game, the way we handled the game. And I knew right then that we were going to be okay this week. Now, I still worried a lot, but those guys said everybody better be in there to lift. Everybody better be on time. And it just took over the team and it permeated through them all week. And I thought Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we had really good practices. Tough place to play. You know, I think the way the game started, they start that way on a lot of people. And we talked to our guys about taking their best shot. But we didn't come up here to take shots. We came up here to throw them. And our offense came right back with a huge drive, which I thought was huge for us to start that way and give the defense some confidence and let us get our feet underneath us. Kind of did a tremendous job and proud of the way the guys played.
Okay, we'll get it started with Seth Emerson, followed by Mark Weiser.
Kirby, the way the defense was tested early with Hooker's running ability and the tempo, are you kind of glad that y'all got tested that way as you go into this stretch?
Yeah, I mean, I think the better teams you play, the better you get. You know, I mean, every week is a different test, and this was a very distinctly different test. I mean, and teams will see what they did, and they'll replicate some of that. But I'm proud of the way we prepared for it. You know, we got a defensive staff that burnt the midnight oil to prepare for this. Is not an easy prep. And you look at the teams that they've played, they don't have many low scoring totals. And to give up the first drive and then come back and really do a good job the rest of the second half. And remember, guys, they have 4 downs the entire second half. When you have 4 downs, it's different because you're not worried about third down, second down. And then you got fourth to go for it because you need touchdowns. So, yeah, I'm proud of the way our guys played defensively.
Kirby, Nolan Smith, do you have an update on him? And it seemed like you had a lot of guys that were down for a while, came off the field, came back in. Was that a matter of the tempo with those guys mostly? I
haven't even talked to Ron. Again, I don't even know. I know one time I went out there and Devontae had sprained his knee, he thought. One time another guy got hit in the ribs, but I'll check with Ron and see. Hopefully those guys are okay.
Let's go to Anthony Dasher, followed by Chip Towers.
And Coach, I'll just ask about Jalen Carter too, real quick, since he was on the sideline there in street close. Well, my main question I wanted to ask, just Stetson Bennett, you mentioned the offense, how were you able to come out strong to begin with? That's why was he kind of just really exciting? Seemed like he was really in the zone early on today and helped y'all get where y'all wanted to go.
I'm not understanding you, Anthony. You talking about Stetson or Jalen Carter?
Yeah, well, Jalen Carter. I mean, why was Jalen Carter on the sideline today?
He was sick, and we had about 5 guys sick, and Jalen didn't feel well. We tried to IV him. He had over 100-degree fever, and we had to pull him at half because of his temperature. And Warren Erickson was sick with the flu. Fitz was sick with the flu. We had several guys that were struggling and a little sick and under the weather. But as far as Stetson, you know, I thought his feet were a big difference in this game. His athleticism, the play he made on the touchdown run was special. I mean, I thought it was a decision. He made it. He stuck it. He made some plays with his feet. He made some plays with his arm. He can still play better. He can make good decisions and not try to make every play an elite play. And there's some times he's got to decide to run it, throw it away. But he made some plays with his feet, guys, that really helped convert for our offense.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, Coach, kind of a big picture question. I mean, you finished with a perfect slate in the SEC, never been done at Georgia, 10-0 to this point, all your goals still in front of you. Can you talk about where you guys have gotten to this point in the season?
You said it exactly, Chip. You answered it. 10-0, undefeated in the SEC. That's where we've gotten. It makes no guarantee for what's going to happen in the future. We got a lot of guys that we've got to try to get better and improve, and we got to tackle better. There's a lot of things we can work on to get better. And you know what I love is the being in that locker room over there beside me. They all know that, and nobody thinks they've arrived. There's things we can work on and get better at, and they'll continue to do it. But tonight, they went through a tough gauntlet in our league and played well.
Let's go to Jeff
Thank you.
Schultz, followed by Michael Cunningham.
Kirby, was there a point in the season, probably recently, where you came to think that Stetson Bennett was a good enough quarterback to potentially lead you guys to a national championship? And if so, what are those traits that led you to that belief?
I don't know, Jeff, that I ever didn't believe he could. I've always thought Stetson was a good player. You say, well, why wasn't he the one? Well, at the time we were going with JT. JT being injured gave Stetson the opportunity to play in games and make the plays he's made. So, you go back to the South Carolina game, JT played pretty well, right? Stetson had the interception, the first series of the first time he was in. And then Stetson got other opportunities to play after that. And he's done a tremendous job. And I'm not going to overthink it with Stetson. We're trying to go game by game to get him better. And I'm so proud of what he's been through for a young man that was a 3 coming out of spring, 3 going into fall camp, 3 coming out of fall camp. What does it say about his character that he stuck around and he kept working to get better? And that's actually what you're supposed to do in life, overcome hurdles and obstacles. And he's done that. But as far as forecasting him as a quarterback and winning, we're worried about Charleston Southern right now.
Michael, you're up.
Kirby, Tennessee brought a lot of pressure, it looked like tonight. How do you think Stetson in particular handled that and the offense overall?
I'll have to review the tape to see. They did bring some pressure. They brought some timed up blitzes where they came through and we didn't block them right sometimes. When you pick up those pressures, you got a chance to make a lot of good plays. But I think our offensive line did a really nice job in the run game. You got to remember, Stetson's probably been the least sacked guy in the country this year. And that's a credit to Matt Luke. It's a credit to Stetson. It's a credit to Todd Monken for not putting us in those tough situations. That happened tonight more than normal.
Okay, let's go to Mike Griffith, followed by Jed May.
Yeah, Kirby, you mentioned the South Carolina game, putting Stetson in, rotating him in. Is it just too late in the season to play that style of rotating a guy in and giving him a chance like you did Stetson earlier, just game by game decision?
Yeah, we're trying to make a decision because it gives us the best chance to win, continuity, receivers. And again, we make that decision each week on what gives us the best chance to win. There's a lot of runs, guys, that are packaged with reads off of it. And when you read, you have to have the ability to pull. And I know you guys were smart enough to watch that tonight. There were times he had to pull the ball and run, and he made them pay for when they chased the running back. And, that's a big part. His legs have played a big part in his success.
Yeah, Kirby, I think it was the 4th drive. Y'all looked like y'all moved Chris Smith over to star, put Dan Jackson in at safety. Just sort of what was, I guess, the thinking on that move, and I guess what allowed it to work so well? I think y'all only gave up, that last touchdown after y'all made that switch.
Chris is a very versatile player. Dan's been playing well. We felt like during the week we worked that hard to try to get some depth. Bullard's been a little banged up, and we had to move Poole to star. And we repped Chris there during the week, thinking it could help us because Chris has got some good man-to-man ability. We had to play kind of a different style defense this week, and I thought the changes we made really helped us.
Let's go to Jake Rowe, followed by Dean Legge.
Kirby, I wanted to ask you about AD. It seemed like it came up kind of big there on that drive before the half, a couple of really nice catches. It was almost a little bit of a breakout game for him, or the first time he's had that kind of production since South Carolina. Did you kind of see that coming? Is that kind of been a preparation thing for him, moving forward?
AD is a good wideout. AD is a hard worker. AD is a young receiver that is growing up in the midst of a conference play. He's been more productive probably in practice than even in the games. He hasn't always gotten his opportunities in the game, but I'm proud of how he works and he's getting maturity. I'm certainly glad he got those opportunities in 2-minute drive there to make some plays. He's got to continue to work on his ball security, but he's a talented young man.
Hey, Kirby, James went 14 touches, 147 yards, 3 touchdowns. Comments on James, and did you get a chance to talk to Peyton before the game about recruiting?
I got a chance to talk to Peyton for the game, but it was more about his son. He wants me to recruit his son. So he had me worried because he said he was going to play quarterback today. So I was getting even more nervous. But James, man, you're talking about a guy that wills himself to win. I mean, this guy wants to win bad, and he doesn't care what it takes. He'll do anything you ask. He ran out and played on a punt team he hadn't played on in a couple of weeks, and we didn't have enough out there, and he ran out there and did that. I mean, I didn't know he had 14 touches for 147, but I mean, the guy makes plays, and he's getting better as the season progresses. I'm really proud of what James has done for James, but I'm even more proud of what James has done for this team, because when James speaks, he carries a lot of weight with the players. They respect James.
Let's go to Catherine Lewis, followed by Palmer Tomes.
Hey, Coach, I wanted to ask you specifically about your linebackers' performance today. They led the team in tackles, and Channing Tindall's forced fumble near the end of the game extended Georgia's lead today. So what were your thoughts on them?
Linebackers are really good players, even better leaders, and well coached. Those three guys have played a lot of football around here, and we're certainly going to miss them when they're gone. But they are really good football players, and they practice as hard as anybody on the team. And Kobe, Channing, and Quay have no egos. It's just another microcosm of the entire team. When you watch that unit, that they don't get upset over who starts, they don't get upset over who makes plays. They make a lot of calls, and they lead our defense.
Yeah, Kirby, wanted to ask specifically about Channing, 3 sacks on the day. What can you say about his performance that you haven't said already?
Well, I think it was brought up, he's got to take on a little bit larger role with some of the guys we got injured and out. And he's taken on that role, and he's always embraced that role of being a guy on third down that can rush the passer. And we were fortunate that he was able to do it tonight. He made a couple really, really good flash plays with his speed. He's extremely fast. And, the sack fumble was a big play.
Okay, we got time for 2 more questions. We'll go to Lance McCurley and finish with Allison Mastrangelo.
Hey, Coach, can you kind of talk about your secondary? I think when Dan Jackson went in at safety and Chris Smith went in at star, you guys only gave up 1 touchdown after kind of giving those plays. And then talk about just the kind of secondary as a whole, because they kind of shut down Tennessee in the back half of the game.
Proud of the way the guys played. Those 2 corners went out and played, and we left them on an island all game. They hit some plays. They got behind Keeley, and they made some plays on DK. They got some good wideouts, and we thought that coming into the game that we were going to have to play well on the perimeter. They're tough to defend. Look, Tennessee's going to be a good team because of the way they play. They make you play one-on-one outside, and it becomes feast or famine, because if you can't win one-on-one outside, then they're going to have a long day. But when they can, they're extremely explosive. So those 2 corners, I thought, did a great job. The other 4 guys that played, Bruni, Lewis, Chris, and Dan, all did a nice job rotating through there.
I just wanted to follow up on Stetson Bennett's running ability, using his legs. He said his dad always has tried to make him run a little bit more. Is that something you've seen in practice and work with him on in practice? And just how much does that make him more of an advantage for you as having him as a quarterback?
Well, I don't try to make him run more, because I don't think that, you got to protect the quarterback too. And he's not a guy of stature that needs to take a lot of shots. We have to be smart with the carries he gets, and he has to be smart about sliding and getting down, because these guys he's going against are big physical guys. But there are things he can work on in terms of the pocket. He's got really good patience in the pocket, but when it's not there, he's got to make a decision to go hit it vertical, not try to escape outside, especially when he's got the protection that our guys have been able to have. But really proud of his feet have made it a new weapon, a new dynamic that our offense needs.